Mm-hmm.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to AnCan Summer of Art Class 3. I love seeing familiar and new faces because familiar means that you want to come back and spend more time with us, and new faces means you may have heard something really cool and you want to make art yourself, and we're just thrilled about that. Hannah, before I get to you, we want to give a big thank you and shout out to the Community Foundation of New Jersey, Jansen, Johnson & Johnson, and HealtheVoices for providing the grant funding for this class. We want to say thank you so much. And Hannah, I heard we're going to be doing scribbles and artistic stuff. And I heard a rumor, maybe from you, that this is going to be where we can explore so many different avenues. So I'm going to pin you and take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alexa. You're absolutely right. We are going to be doing watercolor pencils today. And I actually would love to show you a certain website you can go to. I believe I showed it to you maybe last time, perhaps July's class. It's the Color Wheel. So I'm just going to put that right there in the chat for you guys to go and take a look at. You can choose. There we go. You can take a look at it, look at the color wheel, look at whatever color options you think would look good together. It'll show you those color options and it'll show you whether or not they look good together. I mean, that's all up to you, of course. But go ahead and take a look at that whenever you get a chance. But yes, we will be using watercolor pencils today. And for those of you guys who can't see the chat, I just want to go over the things that we'll need you'll need for this project. Watercolor pencils, of course. They have to be specifically watercolor pencils. Watercolor paper, a brush, preferably a round brush, and I can actually show you my round brush, which is somewhere around here. I swear I always put it around here. Ta-da! Should have one of these right here, size 6 or size 8. Of course, a pencil sharpener for whenever you need it, for whenever you need to sharpen those pencils. Water, of course, for your brush, and napkins. So that's what you will be needing. So go ahead and fetch those watercolor waters and napkins whenever you get the chance. So I guess I'll sort of start to explain the project and what it means to me. Basically, when I was very first going through my multiple sclerosis symptoms and the diagnosis, I was having a hard time wrapping my head around the disease. And of course, being an artist, I can't really be an artist unless you really know who you are. At least that's just kind of what I feel like is the case. So I was having a hard time doing anything arts related, but I knew that I needed to do something. So watercolor pencils were one of the very first mediums that I picked up, and basically it allowed me to scribble, but scribble in a nice way that made it look like I was actually creating something special. I felt very free, very open with these watercolor pencils. I really felt like they weren't limiting to me, and I wasn't limiting myself. And that was the biggest part of it. I wasn't trying to be so tight gripped, I guess, because I would always try to create things more realistically. But I just wasn't in that headspace at the time. So these watercolor pencils really allowed me to free myself. So yeah, this particular project has a very special place in my heart. And in fact, I'd like to show you the very first real painting that I created during that very tumultuous time. I'm never going to sell it. It holds a very special place in my heart. But this particular one just allowed me to be free and do what I needed to do in order to get back on track with learning more about my newfound self.
And Hannah, I just want to say for every single person, because I think it's so important to state this, you were an artist and had been studying to become an artist before your MS diagnosis. So it's not like
Yes.
you found art after MS. You had to learn how to do art again. And I think that's real encouraging to
Yeah.
all of us, no matter what your ability level is, that you, even if you went to school for it, you can still try again and you can still create something beautiful. So thank you for sharing that.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. You're totally right, though. I mentioned it previously, but I was very much into creating realistic, detailed drawings. I loved it. That's what I enjoyed doing. And I had to reinvent myself completely. And but I didn't know what else I could do. I feel like I'm a natural born artist. I've been doing it my whole life. So my whole identity was knocked down. And so after my MS diagnosis, I needed to reinvent myself. And so part of that was using mediums that allowed me to become a different person. And so those water-based mediums were those mediums, watercolor pencils in particular. So yes, I'm happy to share watercolor pencils with you now. So I guess we can get started unless you want to say anything else, Alexa.
No, let's get our art on, Hannah.
Let's do it. Okay. Love it. Okay, so let me show you these two pieces right here. I encourage you guys to also take a look at the picture that I sent you guys. It's the little legend. I can pull it up here as well and show it to you on the big screen too. But in that legend, I show you a few different types of flowers that I'm going to be showing you how to create. And what we'll be doing is picking our colors first. Pick the colors of your flowers, pick your greens, pick your background, like your sky color. If you even have a sky, you don't even need to have a sky. This is literally just very loose greens in the background back here. So you don't absolutely have to have a sky. We will be starting off with our flowers, and then we'll jump into our sky. And that is if you have a sky. And then we'll start by filling in the rest of the spaces with our greenery. And you can draw in some individual leaves, but I guarantee you some of them will get lost in the foliage. And that's just what happens anyway. It's okay if they get lost anyway, because if you think about it, if you're actually looking at some greenery, your eye is not going to focus on every single flower. So it's okay if some of all of this gets lost and it just looks a little convoluted. Although you can certainly do bigger leaves as well, like in the case right in here. So what did I say? We're going to be doing the flowers first, and then we'll do the sky. If you have a sky, then we'll do the leaves, and then we'll scribble the rest in between all the little spaces. Now, with watercolor pencils, you will be able to see your marks here. So the direction of your marks, I'm going to be showing you how to create that. It is important to color it in the same direction as your flower or your foliage, and I'll show you how I go about doing that. So why don't I show you the legend first real quick, just in case you need to pull it up or you can't pull it up. You can see it right here. Dun, 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 don't mind me.
Hannah, do we have to choose which one we want to do? Which
Flowers you mean?
which painting to recreate, or you're just saying, oh, I'm confused. So, or are you just saying, well, you could just put in flowers and then you'll do it?
I would say I would like for you guys to customize it. I highly encourage you guys to customize it to whatever flowers you want to do. I would say that's the focal point. So choose perhaps 2 or 3 flowers at the most, and customize it, because there's a lot to the idea of customizing something and making it your own. So let me share my screen
So
here.
Hannah, it's basically you're going to be teaching us different flowers, and we can choose, and foliage, and we can choose what we want or what we don't want. And then we can also use this as a tool to make our own at other times too.
Exactly. I highly encourage you guys to customize how many flowers you want. And actually, I don't really encourage you guys to count the flowers either. I am very much an intuitive person, and I think it's important to be able to build up that intuition and being able to choose the colors, but also choose the amount of flowers is very important, I think. So do you guys see the picture here?
Yes. See it.
Oh, good. Okay. We've got your daisies here, got our buttercups, roses, clovers. I would say the clovers are probably going to be the easiest, at least in my opinion, followed by the daisies. Those are definitely going to be very easy. The buttercups probably next in line for easiest. The roses will probably require a little bit of imagination, but I am going to show you how to create those anyway. Now for my part, I'm going to be showing you how to make all of these. So for me, I'm going to have all these flowers in my picture. But you guys, like I said before, choose perhaps 2 to 3 types of flowers. And that's about it. Because I would say if you put them all in there, it might be a little difficult to blend later. So 2 to 3. And once again, clovers are easiest, roses are the hardest. So if you don't have that on your computer, then go ahead and take a screenshot perhaps, or maybe take a picture with your phone.
What I'll do is I'll upload it to AnCan server and I'll put it in the chat so they can have it up on their computer. I'm doing that right now.
Perfecto. Thank you. Now stop sharing. Okie dokie. Let's get started. Go ahead and choose the colors of your flowers. Keep in mind what kind of colors you want for your sky as well. For this one, I chose to do oranges and pinks for this one because I wanted like a sunset. So that's what I did. Once again, in the chat, you have that resource, that website you can access on Canva. We're going to start with our flowers. So I'm going to choose my colors. Maybe I want some purple roses. That's what I'll start with first. I'll start with the hardest one, and then I'll go ahead and jump to the easiest one later.
And Hannah, I'm posting it in the chat right now for everyone, so you can download it directly, or you can just pull it up in another tab and have it up.
Thank you, Alexa.
Of course.
Now I'm pulling out my my flower colors. I think I want this one. And I do encourage you guys to think about that now and start pulling out your flower colors. I'm thinking maybe I will actually stick to red for the roses.
Can I ask a question, Hannah?
Yeah, go for it.
Are you going to show us like one flower at a time? And you said put 2 or 3 in a picture. Can I put can I turn the page and practice with you?
Oh yeah, of course you can. That's a great idea. I do encourage you guys to practice a little bit. That way you can kind of figure out whether or not you even like creating this flower anyway. That's a great idea. Maybe I should actually start with the easier flower. I think maybe that's the better idea. So we'll do with the clover. The clover is the easiest. And for that one, let's see. I had a clover picture around here somewhere. Here we go. I actually created clovers on a practice piece of paper. So they have a very like an egg-like shape to them. So that's what I'm going to start with. They're made of pink and purple. So go ahead and grab those 2 colors, like a lighter pink and a purple. And we're going to start off with the lighter color, the purple. And we're going to draw this kind of shape, like this egg-like shape. Start off by drawing the egg shape. And then I want you guys to go ahead and color it in like this. I'm sort of going with the shape of the egg. I am pressing down hard. And I do that because I really want the pigment to show up. Notice how I'm going up and down, and I'm sort of, once I get to the edges, I'm curving my strokes here. And the thing about watercolor pencils is we want to draw everything in there first. We don't want to add any watercolor until the very end. So we're going to do a lot of drawing.
Hannah,
first.
just as an FYI, because this is a little bit more detailed based, I'm going to take your image of just you off, and so it can make the image of you drawing super big. But I'll bring you
Good
back. Okay?
idea. Good idea. In fact, I'm going to scooch in closer. There we go.
That is wonderful. Thank you.
Good. And now I want to take my purple, and on the bottom here, I'm going to add from the bottom here, from a point here, I'm going to scribble in some of that purple. It's going to reach up. It's going to reach up the egg. Now you can, if you're not practicing, or if you do want more, well, yeah, if you're not practicing, or if you do want to practice a little bit more, you're more than welcome to create another little egg-shaped clover. Color it in the same way, starting from the top there. Now with watercolor pencils, you are absolutely going to see some of your not brush strokes, I shouldn't say brush strokes, pencil marks. It's just the nature of the watercolor pencils, and that's why we go with the shape of the things that we're coloring. This purple here is going to reach upward. And a good thing to keep in mind when you're doing any kind of plants, whether it be trees, any kind of foliage, flowers, plants always reach up towards the sun. They're always going to want to try and get that light. And so your brush strokes play a part in that. So I want to show you how this is going to work with the paintbrush. Even though realistically, when we actually start the picture, we're going to be we're not really going to add water until much, much later. But for now, for practice purposes, we can start by grabbing some of that water and laying it down on top. Once again, I am still going with the shape of my clover. And do you see how I did that here? I sort of pointed my brush outward a little bit. Pointed it out because clovers, they're made of these tiny, tiny little petals that stick outward. And so with the brush, we can sort of start to make that fluffy shape. See, the brush is pointy. Because it's pointy, it can point outward. Now, if you find yourself with a little bit too much water, let me show you what I do. So I'm taking my water right here. And I always like to take some water and then tap it a little on the side. That's going to help us to take some of that water off. And if that's still not enough, if you think it's still a little too watery, that's why you have your napkins. That way you can tap once or twice to get a little bit of water off. Now, once again, I'm going to start on the light portion, so my pink. And I'm going to scrape my brush down, still going kind of with the shape of my brush strokes. Working my way down, pointing, still pointing upward here. Sort of sticking outward like that. And then after I've applied water all the way down, I can go in and work my way up again and create that more clover shape, the more classically clover fluffy shape. And there you have it. Now I'll show you how to add the greenery later, but for now, that's the basic shape of the flower. So the next one, I'll go ahead and work on a daisy. Now I'm going to rinse my brush, tap, tap, tap a little water off. Now daisies, typically, if you want more realistic daisies, they can come in yellow or perhaps pink. Actually, I do think they can come in almost all colors. So that helps. So honestly, like I encourage you guys to do whatever colors that make you happy. For daisies, we can draw them. I think it's easiest if you draw them front facing. So I always like to start with a point here. Ta-da. You know what? Simply because you guys probably can't see yellow, I'm actually going to switch to a different color. There we go. That's better. Now I like to start with a point in the middle, perhaps not that big, and then draw these very classic petals right here. But I like to jump from one side to the next. Totally okay to overlap because all this color is going to blend in. And I like to just jump from opposite end to opposite end. Now this is right perpendicular to where I had been. But I'm still going to go in and fill in some of those gaps there. And the flower, like the overall flower, doesn't have to be as big as I'm making it. You can choose how big to create your flowers on your painting. Now it's very easy to go in and start to just color. I typically like to color with most of the color concentrated at the ends here. That way, when I actually add the water, I can gradually have less color and it'll be a little bit lighter towards the middle. I realize that not all daisies are like that, but a good portion of them are. Most of the colors concentrated towards the end here. Now, be sure to give your hand a rest every once in a while. Like I've been scribbling for a while now, and I'm starting to feel it in my hands. So be sure to give yourself a rest. Now, I'm going to show you how to do a different kind of daisy. It's actually a cone flower. This is actually my favorite kind of daisy to draw. Texas here, we have a ton of these cone flowers is what they're called. Typically, they are pinkish purple. I absolutely love these flowers, and I think they're so much fun to draw. The middle of them has a cone. That's what the center is. So for these types of daisies, I'm going to draw a petal on the side here. The cone flower is going to be facing upward. So it's not going to be facing you. It's going to be facing upward. So all my petals are going to come from this point right here.
And Hannah, we have a quick question.
Yes.
So because we can choose any single color or any color combination we want for our flowers, what would you recommend a limit to the colors that we choose are per flower?
Oh, a limit to the colors. That's a great question. I think it just depends on your own type of preferences, like your own aesthetic feel that you want to add to it. Perhaps if you really want to limit on colors, I'd say 5 is a good limit. Yeah, I'd say 5 is a good limit to colors simply because it gets a little complicated after that. But honestly, the sky's the limit. Like if you really love more colors, then that's okay. You do you. But
Like for in our flowers, because we did 2 tones for the clovers. How many colors limit do you think for inside the
for the
flowers?
inside the flowers. Ooh, I'd say 2 tones. 2 tones is a good amount. In fact, you just reminded me that I do want to add 2 tones to the cone flower right here too, just so you guys can see that. And just so you know, I also added the cone here too. So the cone, it's sticking up from the flower, like so. And of course, you can always create these kinds of daisies, like this kinds of petal shape, without the cone if you don't want it. If you don't want it like that. So let me go ahead and color it in, same way that I did before. For this particular one, if you want to see what it looks like with 2 types of colors inside the flower, I'm going to add that after I color this in. There we go. Perhaps I will do a darker purple. I think a darker purple would be good. Where you place it probably just depends on your own artistic output. In fact, I can show you right here. Now, I just made an artistic decision right here to add this texture with a different type of purple right in the middle of these petals right here. So that kind of texture. So it's not any kind of shading or anything special. It's just an aesthetic choice. If you want shading, then I would suggest sticking to the sides here. Now that's a slightly more complicated thing, but it definitely can be done. There we go. Perhaps I can add to the other flower. Maybe I can add some yellow. There we go. Some yellow at the end here. That's kind of nice. Oh, there's my kitty. She's going for the water again. And there we have it. So let me show you what that looks like colored in. Come on, Callie. Gotta put you down. Of course, I lost my brush again. Here it is. Okay. I'll get my water. Now I'm going to start with the lighter of the 2 flowers. I don't think I mentioned this, but that's a general rule of thumb for anytime you're dealing with watercolors or watercolor based things. Start with the lighter colors. So I'm going to start with the light purple, slowly work my way to the darker purple, rounding it out by going with the shape of the petal, like so. There we go. Started on that lighter purple, rounding it out to the darker purple. Moving on to the next one. I was careful not to touch the brown for the cone. There we go. Everything is supposed to look waterly and painterly. That's just how the artistic process works. And I'm even going to put some water on top of the cone right here.
Waterly and painterly. I like it.
Yeah. It's my favorite kind of watercolor. Now for the other flower, I'm going to start once again on the lighter color. So on this yellow that I added. Then I'm going to slowly work my way up, pointing inward. Because my brush is pointy, so it's going to point inward. Now I might even rinse my brush or tap some of this orange off after every petal. It just kind of depends on you and how much of the orange you have. Yeah, that orange is very strong. Callie insists on watching me, or watching the water, I should say. Yeah, because this orange for me is so strong and powerful, I'm going to have to just do a little tap and rinse after every one. Don't want it to overpower. Do I have any questions so far? Any other questions? Is everyone so concentrated?
The floor is yours if you have a question, anybody.
Perfect. Anything. Awesome. Everybody's concentrating.
Actually, I have a question. If I wanted to, I already started blending everything, but if I want my flower darker, do I just let it dry and then add darker colors?
Yes, that's exactly what you do. And I would wait a good long while, maybe like a good 15 minutes before adding more color to it. Because that water, it definitely has a different look to it. I can probably show you what it looks like on wet, actually. Say perhaps I added red to it while it's still wet. This red will come out very, very strong. Like that. It's extremely strong. Do you see that?
But
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like that, absolutely. It definitely works out better like that if it's on a very wet portion. Like this has a lot of water on it.
Yeah.
Hannah, I think you need to introduce Callie because Callie is demanding that you introduce her.
I know. Hello, Callie.
Hello, Callie. Welcome.
I think we need to paint paw prints
Oh, that would be cute. Paw prints.
across the paper.
Let me show you her. She is very interested in what I'm doing.
This
Here
is
she
a
is.
welcomed interruption. Hi, Callie. You're getting so big.
She's beautiful.
Yes,
Thank
she is.
you.
She wants to
Thank
give
you.
everybody a hug. That's what she's doing. She sees all these faces and is like,
Aw.
I want to hug all of you.
What a baby.
I know. She's very loving. She loves it when I pick her up, especially when I'm in the kitchen. She just likes to hang around in my arms and just sightsee. That's all she does. All right, so I'm going to show y'all how to do the buttercups now. And I'll do blue because I just love blue as a buttercup color. I don't know why. I always just tend to go to blue. I want to show you just a couple examples right here. So these guys right here. So with this one, we're actually going to start out by lightly drawing in the rim shape right here. So it's going to be that shape, like an oval shape, perhaps. And then we'll make it come down into a point. That point is going to be where the stem goes from. So just a light oval. Now the shape we can definitely distort it into actual petal shapes after we draw it in. Then we have the cone, and you can even fix this cone shape too. Like I want to make this a little bit more round like that, because that will get blended in. And then I always like to start with the petal that is closest to the viewer. So this one right here, right in front. It's going to be a bit more of a squarish shape. And this squarish shape is also going to reach down. Now with this one, you'll have to use just a little bit of your imagination.
Ask a quick question
Uh-huh.
before I try. Are these watercolor pencils erasable? I made mine way too big, but I don't want to smear it all over the place if it's.
Good question. Honestly, I don't think I've ever tried erasing them.
Okay, I will try. I have an eraser right here.
Yeah.
And I will try.
It looks like just a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. Yes, you can do it a little bit.
Or can you just draw white on top of it?
The white doesn't really work so well and honestly, I don't know why these sets include the white. I really don't. Yeah, unfortunately, I wish it did.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just a happy accident. You have a very big flower. That's it.
It's just a very big flower, and that's okay. Now the next one is gonna come out. I'm just gonna distort this a little bit. And then off to the side again, to the other side. Gonna distort it, kind of make it flat on the top there. And then moving on to the back petals back here. Gonna come down. Notice how I made this petal shape going downward in the back here. And again, flatten that out. Now I'm not going to count how many petals I can fit in each of them. I mean, I was able to fit 12 in there. So that was not 12. I'm sorry. I meant 6. So that's pretty nice. But if you can only fit 4 or 5, then that's okay too. Now with this one, the coloring process is similar, but not exactly the same. I do want to have it lighter in the middle right here on the inside. So what I'm going to do is start in the back here. Now I'm going to start to color, but I'm not going to reach the very end. Not going to quite reach the end there. Same thing with the other ones.
Is that 2 colors of blue or the same blue?
The same blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can definitely show you what it looks like with another color. Now with the other.
Yes, it looked darker. It looked like a different color, but.
Yeah, no, honestly, like I had to check myself because I agree with you. I agree with you there. It looks like a different one, but it's the same. Now you can keep it like this where it's you have the lighter space for the lighter blue, or you can perhaps even add a different color to it, like I don't know, purple maybe. Oh no, I have a different kind of blue. This will be nice. You could add that to the bottom, especially in the front here, like so. Now that looks pretty nice. I think I'm going to keep it like this, like keep it darker down here in the front petals, but lighter in the middle. Like I like that. But you can do that, or you can also perhaps even add a little bit of the darker color in the middle of your petals. Like that. Now, as far as coloring it in, it's the same process. Gonna tap, tap, tap some water off. I'm gonna start actually on the white because I want this to be the lightest. I'm still gonna manage to get a little bit of blue in there, but at least it won't be the full brunt of the blue. Like so.
Are we supposed to be doing the water as well? So I thought we did all that at the end, but
Oh yes, so this is actually still the practice run.
oh,
So
okay, cool.
So if you're not on if you're actually like doing the actual picture, then I would recommend maybe not coloring it in just yet.
Okay.
Although if you did, that's okay. It's
Cool.
always a workaround. Now I have a lot of that darker blue. So I did have to rinse my brush off.
Hannah, I am going to be honest. I'm going to have a moment in the circle of love here. My buttercup sort of looks like an almond having an identity crisis. So I just would like some encouragement if anyone else is struggling that a successful buttercup, perhaps with some practice, can happen.
It's an almond having an identity crisis.
It is, Hannah. I'm being honest about it.
That is the best. Can I see it? I'm looking for your screen.
Oh,
I can't find your screen yet.
I will put it up. It is an almond having an identity crisis.
I love it. I love it so much. It's basically a bud. It's an unopened flower
yet. Thank
you.
Thank you, Hannah, for believing in me that it hasn't bloomed yet. I appreciate that.
That's what I see with it. So you are totally fine. He just needs to go through his identity crisis and he'll be fine.
Hannah, someone else said, I'm just, I don't know if I'm having an identity crisis, but I'm like, so I don't get it. Is this the practice or are we actually making the?
Yes.
So I'm probably not the only one who's going, are we going to have enough time next week?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, yeah, I totally understand completely. This is the practice run still. So I will probably, I'm glad I started with the easiest first. So I will go run through the roses really quickly, and then we can start on the actual painting. So the roses, like I said, you'll have to use a little bit of imagination first. I always like to start with the center and create a little bit of just like a spiral. Now roses, they have tight little petals in the middle, and then they gradually get a little bit more loose as they go out. And even some of the petals even fall outward. Here is an example right here. So, especially with this one, start with a little curly Q in the middle, and then make some of these petals that sort of stick outward. They just get a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker as you go outward. See that? A little bigger, a little thicker. And then those petals that tend to stick outward, they tend to be sort of triangular shape or even I don't know, even boxy shape sometimes. So they definitely look very different. Usually you can catch them just on the bottom portion like that. And I'll just show one more before I put color in it. Start with a spiral in the middle and then sort of go around with the smaller petals the tighter petals. They get a little thicker, a little bigger as you move outward. You don't have to put petals around every single section. And there, I'm having to do the more triangular ones now, like so. You can have them be a little bit more round, more wider on the bottom. That tends to make them a little more realistic looking. And then once you put water on them, definitely going to have to tap some of that water off. And then I'm mostly going to be putting the color on the petals themselves. I'm going to leave some space in between. It's going to be a little bit blank. And I know that that's not 100% realistic for roses, but it works for this kind of technique. See that? Utilizing the pointiness of my brush, like so. You can end up making some of your petals a little bit bigger. If you want to, at least. Now, which of these do you guys think is easiest?
Not the rose.
No, not the rose.
It does take practice, so.
What's that one called? Daisies.
Oh, the daisies. Very cool. There we go. So here's what I'll do. I will go ahead and start on the actual picture now. I'll focus more on the other flowers. So for me, I will be going through them again and showing you guys again how to do these. But you guys pick and choose which 2 or 3 types of flowers. Create however many of those types of flowers that you want, as long as it's 2 or 3 of the types. Now, once again, I'll go over the clovers again. So you guys work at your own pace with the flowers. Just know that for this type, I'd say, and for this one too, the flowers are mostly concentrated in the middle here with plenty of space in the sky. So think about that. However, if you don't want a sky, or if you end up not having a sky at the end, that's okay. There will be plenty of space for scribbling of foliage too. But most of our flowers are going to be concentrated kind of in the middle. Let's see.
And Hannah, so when we're starting our overall picture, do we go ahead and draw it out with the pencil and then we add water? Because I know with the practice run, we did them all individually.
Exactly, you're right. So I would, we're not going to put water on any of the flowers at all. So we'll have a complete drawing by the end of it. And then even after, so we won't put the water until even after the foliage is there and the sky is there. So no water at all. Very good question. All right, so I'm going to start off with the clovers again. So I'm just going to be doing my own talking, doing my own thing, and you guys put whichever flowers you would like to put in there, and I'll just talk out loud. And if y'all have questions or want me to demonstrate a specific flower, then that's okay. You interrupt me. So I'm drawing all of my little egg shapes first. Gonna color them all in. Once again, this is your reminder to take a little hand break too, like stretch your hand out a little bit. If it's getting a little too much.
Hey,
Clovers.
Hannah, I was wondering, like, the roses that, like, they're kind of like buds, like they haven't bloomed yet. So that's like the closed rose. Like if you could,
Yes.
yeah, that would be a little easier maybe than the other kind.
Here we go.
Maybe.
Yeah, the other kind, maybe, yeah. So we have this little guy right here that I can show you. Definitely looks very abstract, right? So I think I'll draw a little red rose for you. And once again, we're still gonna see the middle of the rose, but it's just gonna be very small, like that. So I'm still gonna do a little spiral like that. And it's more oval shaped because that's where the top is pointing. It's pointing that way. So after I do the little spiral shape for my rose, I'm gonna come down here just a little ways down, and I'm gonna draw the side shape like that. It's just a little like a cup. It looks kind of like a cup, like that. And then it normally has like a little flap, it's not a flap, it's a petal.
Yeah.
Off to the side, like that. You can even draw another one like that. I'm so happy you reminded me to draw that.
Yeah, that's a lot easier.
Good.
than
Okay,
the other one.
good. Have a lot of little rosebuds then.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And you can even put like a second color in there too. Like I can put a little bit of pink in there. Like so. So I won't add water to that yet. Once I'm done with my clovers, I will I'll show you how to do more of those roses. So lots of little eggs in here. Now clovers, they always grow in bunches. I think clovers used to be my favorite flowers growing up. They're just so different.
When you say clover, it might be
Uh-huh.
because whatever here we have clover, it doesn't look like that.
Really?
So you kept saying the clover, because where's the clover?
Maybe mine are a little too abstract.
No,
Maybe
it's a different type of flower, I'm guessing. What we call a clover.
I always call those
Interesting.
like the honeysuckle, or not honeysuckle. Oh, they are clovers. Yeah, they're purpley, and you can like suck the
Yeah.
little honey out of the tubes.
For me, that's honeysuckle. That's not really the.
I know.
Like,
see,
these
I
don't
thought-
have
No,
tubes.
there's clover, the clover honey. They
Yeah.
look like that. They're purplish.
Yeah, honeysuckle. I realized
It's
I called it.
clover. Clover is
It is
purple.
clover. Yeah,
The
'cause
flower is
honeysuckle-
purple.
The
honeysuckle
flower's
is actually
purple.
those white flowers. They're little.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about, Brandy. The white flowers.
Yeah.
I used to eat the honey out of those too when I was little.
Oh.
Uh-huh. My grandma would always catch me and tell me to stop, but they're so good. They were so good. So I will add the purple to these clovers now on the bottom. There we go. Just on the bottom there, and it'll all blend. These scribbling motions will all blend once I do add the water. Now, if you ever wonder if you have enough flowers, maybe you don't think you have enough flowers, keep in mind that green foliage is going to take up a lot of space too, especially if you have multiple greens. It'll really feel like a full painting once it's done. So never fear about that. Even if you only put maybe 2 or 3 amounts of each of the types of flowers, it's okay. We will definitely find a way to fill in the space. Now, I'm going to add some daisies. So perhaps now I can use some yellow to make it go a little further in now. So maybe some daisies right up here. Let's see, I'm gonna start by perhaps making it a little bit more on the flat end, maybe not quite so frontal facing. No, I say that and can't really, my hand didn't really do it. So maybe next time I'll try it out again. I think this one I will make it be two-toned. I'll probably add maybe like a lighter version of orange in there somewhere. I do want to keep the center more light, so I'll do that.
What a great exercise in mindfulness that this is our field and we can decide what's in it.
Exactly.
We can decide what the colors look like. We can decide the flowers we want.
Uh-huh. And I like that connection to mindfulness too. So it's so true. This is your field. You do what you want. And all your flowers, they don't all have to be together. So here we go. This is what I was trying to make. Trying to make more of a flatter flower. So this is not something I showed you guys. I'm flattening out these petals right here. And I'm keeping all these petals a little bit more angular because I want them to be slightly facing the sun. The back petals back here are a little bit shorter because they're in the back, they're in perspective. Like that. I'll do another one just so I can demonstrate again. Maybe I'll make this one a different color. Ooh, I like this pink. There we go. I'll make it a bright pink here. So this one, maybe it'll face this way. So more elongated, more narrow petals here. Because it's in perspective, that's why it's more narrow. It's more angular. Not exactly getting the petal shape just right when I first draw them, but it's okay because all of our pencil strokes will all blend in. The ones back here are a little bit shorter because they're in perspective, like that. I probably could have left a little more white space in the middle, but I totally forgot. That's okay.
Kind of interesting how we don't really know what things are going to look like.
Yeah, no, that's totally true because the water, it is going to change it. But at least you got a little bit of a foundation, like in the beginning.
Yeah.
But you're right, like it could completely change. It's exciting. Oh yes, I wanted to add a little bit of orange to some of these daisies to make them two-toned. I feel like that's a little bit too bright. I wonder what can I use? Here we go. I think this one's a little bit less bright. Now this is just an artistic choice to make it a little bit not exactly realistic, but just a nice little touch in the middle of the daisy petals. Although I'm sure there are daisies out like this somewhere. There we go. You know what? I'm gonna add this same orange to my pink one too.
Hannah, I'm just imagining this as a happy place, my little happy place.
Yeah, it's like a nice field, nice summer day.
There's
Not
no
too hot,
seasonal
though.
allergies in my happy
Yeah.
place.
That's right.
It smells great. And on top of that, I have no side effects of any treatment and I feel fantastic. So it's my happy place.
It's amazing.
And all of your favorite colors.
Uh-huh. I can lay down and there's not too many bugs crawling on me. Maybe a few, but not too many.
It could be friendly bugs. I mean, we could be in a
Friendly
Disney
bugs.
movie. I don't know. That could be your happy place.
I wouldn't mind seeing a few beetles. I do like beetles. I do enjoy going bug hunting.
And a fun fact about Hannah while you are creating, Hannah has had a snake, has had multiple rats.
Yeah.
She loves creatures all great and small.
I
Big,
do.
small.
Currently have a puffer fish. I have I've had quite a few pets. I love them all. I really do. I really I bond with all of them. Especially my rats. Those are honestly some of my favorite pets.
You know, I actually here in East Texas, I had a snake show up and I was telling Hannah, I was like, Hannah, there's this huge snake that showed. She said, oh, I had that as a pet. And I'm just
Yep.
like, you're so brave.
It was a rat snake. Yep. An albino rat snake to be specific. And actually it was that snake was the whole reason I got rats in the first place, because Snakey Endo, she didn't want to eat. And she ate rats, unfortunately. And but fortunately for me, I rescued the baby rat that she didn't want to eat. And I told my boyfriend at the time that no, this little rat's not going back to the pet store. I'm keeping it. I've already named it Polka. And it's gonna be my baby. So it was my child for the next 3.5 years. I even got other rats to be its friend.
We're the rat capital of United States. We're one of the cities, the rat capital.
In New York.
And so Hannah's going to book a ticket.
I will be friends with all of them.
Rochester, New York.
Yeah, I've got a few rats in my area in Chicago too, if you want to come visit.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I love them so much.
You're in Texas, right? Have you ever had an armadillo for a pet?
No, I think that's illegal.
Yeah, it's actually only legal to own an armadillo in Oklahoma because armadillos carry leprosy. So it's dangerous to actually keep them as pets.
It is, yeah. They're adorable. Like I live by a creek and I see them leaving in and out of cars every night, almost every night. So they're cute, but can't keep them as pets.
Good to know you can't get leprosy in Oklahoma.
I think they just ignore it.
Yeah.
Can I show my painting?
Of course you can.
Well, usually it's my mom who's in the class. Her name is Sarah, but I also have my own health issues, so I joined her today, and this is what I've made.
Oh my god! Oh, love it!
I did my best, guys.
Yeah,
you did
awesome.
You did amazingly.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the color.
I love it, Barbara.
I tried.
You did so good with it.
I like the flower that drooped. It's the cone flower. It's like a salmon color.
Oh, I
I'm
did like a really pretty yellow, and then I did a reddish orange in the center. And when the water blended
oh,
it, it kind of made that peachy color. It was very pretty.
nice. That's beautiful. And I'm absolutely loving your daisy, your orange daisy at the top there. 'Cause
Thank
I
you.
see the tones that you put in there.
I tried.
You did so good. Thank you, Barbara.
You did
I'm-
not try, you succeeded.
Uh-huh.
My mom, she also tried, but then she ditched me.
Oh, she did.
She did the beginning part,
It's beautiful
It's
though. Look at
beautiful
that
though.
It started
Yeah.
out well.
and
I
then Barbara
know.
left the building.
Maybe she can finish it later.
All right,
Barbara has left the building.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have so
Thank
much
you.
fun.
Oh, that was really sweet. I love it. Now, just so you guys know, I'm actually moving on to the buttercup again. So I did my center, the rim, the oval, and then made the little the cup shape up to a point. And I'm gonna do the easiest, the front facing flattish petal, almost heart shape, almost. And then I'm gonna come around. Whoops. And of course, because I'm heavy-handed, just broke my pencil.
I did that earlier too.
Yeah, it's so easy too. Just like I do it with all my crayons and break them all. There we go. Jump to the other side, kind of stayed within my limits there. Coming around. It's totally okay if you go outside of that rim. And there you go. Gonna color that guy in. Gonna save a little space for some white in the middle there. Perhaps I'll do a different kind of blue on the bottom because I'm really liking the way that looks. Two-toned in the front, lighter in the middle there. I like the way that looks.
And Barb did that, for the record. Barbara did do that in the practice run, and it was great. The two-toned buttercup.
Oh yeah, yeah, that buttercup is beautiful. Now I will do, I'll focus on roses now because I know you guys like the rose buds. So I'm gonna focus on that. For me, I'm gonna draw the rose buds a little bit more in the back here because if they're smaller, it makes it look like they're further back. If they're larger, it makes it look like they're more in the front. So once again, gonna do a little spiral. Then I'm gonna make more of a mug shape without the handle. Gonna close it off. There we go. Perhaps let's make this petal stick out just a little bit. Makes it look a little bit more realistic. And you can put two types of reds or perhaps a purple in there too if you really wanted to. Just to make it a little more artistic, give it your own feel. Can definitely make it two-tone. Maybe I will make a closer rosebud over here. This one will be bigger. Ta-da!
I'm sure it'll be interesting. I'm having some flowers go behind other flowers in different colors. Have to be really careful with the water, right?
Yeah, especially if it's smaller.
Okay.
Definitely. I am gonna scribble that in there.
And I kind of added water to my practice run because I thought the practice run was the drawing at first. So
yeah.
Am I still going to be able to add some more water to mine at the end?
Oh yeah, no, you can definitely do that. I just felt like it was easier to do it all at once That way you're not having to go back and forth between two different types of things.
Okay.
So yeah, but if you already did that, that's okay.
Okay.
So the rosebuds kind of look like tulips to me. What would a tulip look? What would a tulip look like?
Oh, what would a tulip look like? Oh, good question. Let's see. It's been a while since I've drawn a tulip, so I have to think about that. An actual tulip, maybe I'll do it in yellow. They are not quite as closed or not quite as narrow as the rose buds. I would probably start them off the same way that you would start off a buttercup, actually. Sort of round like that. Here we go. Now you guys can see that. Sort of round like that. But actually, I'm going to make it a little, there we go. It's a little bit more conical shape. At least I think that's how it goes. I haven't seen a picture of a tulip in a while. Kind of like that, I believe. But correct me if I'm wrong, though. If this just doesn't look like a tulip, then tell me.
It looks like a buttercup, right?
Yeah, I think so. It looks more like a buttercup.
Well,
Yeah.
I can see the tulip in it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you.
Can we tiptoe through it?
What was that?
I heard you liked puns, so I asked if we could tiptoe through the tulips.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Right over my head. Thank you.
That's when you know it's a good pun. If you can't get it on the first and then you go, oh my gosh, that's
that was
a good
a
pun.
joke.
I'm gonna have to get my ukulele.
Oh, that was good. Now I've got a lot of flowers there, so I would actually like to go in and make my sky now. Now I chose for this one, I chose to do more of a sunset sky. So it has two types of orange in there, a light orange, a dark orange, and a pink overlapping all of it. But is there a particular sunset or a particular type of sky you'd like me to create? Would you like me to stick with a sunset? Any takers?
I'm good with sticking to your sunset.
Okay. All right. I
Hannah,
think that's what we'll do.
if you just teach us how to use like 2 or 3 colors, then we can choose sunrise, sunset, sunny sky.
Sure.
And it's just, you can translate. If you could tell people like what colors you would need for like a sunrise, a sunset, or just a sunny sky.
Yeah. And in fact, that link I showed you earlier to the color wheel, that's a great resource. If you go there and choose what a sky color and choose I think it's called analogous, that'll give you a good idea as to what colors to choose. There's an option says choose a color combination. Analogous is where I went to, and I'm gonna choose perhaps maybe orange to look at. That gives me some good color combos right there. So analogous colors basically means colors that are side by side. So pink and red and orange, those are all side by side colors. So let me show you. I'm going to start with the lighter of the colors. So perhaps I'll do my light orange. I'll do my darker orange, and then I'll do a pink as an overall overlapping color. Those will be my sunset colors. Maybe I can even add some purple in there later. Now I feel like it's a lot easier to make these types of marks, if you hold your pencil from out here, at least that's just what I think, where it's a bit more elongated, and you can sort of create these types of sweeping longer brush strokes. Totally okay if it's not completely rounded out like that. That is fine. And I am really overreaching with this lighter color because I know already that my darker colors will completely overlap. Being a little bit more conservative with my other orange here. As long as it's generally in a somewhat of an arch shape, you're good. And then I can add the pink, and it is okay if you're going in different directions with these colors, because once we get that water on there, it'll blend them all. And this is why I really feel like watercolor pencils are so forgiving, especially for beginners and people like me who needed to, relearn how to do art. They're so forgiving. The water is really going to help you out. I'm just basically putting pink everywhere.
And Hannah, they're also portable, which I like.
There's a what?
They're portable.
They are portable, yes. I have taken them out into like a field and colored from the field. It's quite nice. And I'm gonna put purple way in the corner here because this is my darkest area. Just a little bit. Just in the corner there. That's just the purple. Not too much.
And Hannah, I'm gonna pin myself real quick. So there's these brushes you can get where you can fill them up with water. You just take them apart, you can fill them up with water, and then you just hit the button right here and it gets water out. So for example, if you travel a lot for treatment and you maybe want to revisit this video, you can feel free to get one of these. Hannah, I don't remember what they're called, but you can take your watercolor pencils, your pad, and you can also bring this too, and it will travel anywhere, and there's no mess or anything to clean up. So I just want to throw that out there.
And honestly, I forget what they're called. What are they? I think they're just portable portable
watercolor pens. And you can get them in different sizes and different brushes. Like you can get a round brush, a flat brush. So that is an option. I travel for treatment myself, so I understand that.
Thank you so much for thinking about showing that too. Yeah, those are really great. Okay. All right. So I've got the sky in there now. Let's do some greenery now. Yay, I'm excited for the greenery. Honestly, the greenery is one of my favorite portions of this painting. That's where you can really have fun with it and let loose. Choose however many greens you want to choose. I'm actually going to choose maybe two or three types of greens. Let's see. I have like a nice, really bright one, like more like a new green for those new growths. I have a slightly darker one for those slightly older growths, and then perhaps one that's a little bit more on the tealer green side, more teal. It's a little bit darker. You're more than welcome to do more greens in this if you want to, but I'm kind of a fan of sticking with the lights, the mediums, and then the darks afterwards. If it calls for it, maybe I'll add a fourth one. I'll just kind of wait and see what it feels like. So I want to start by drawing in some of my leaves. So I want to show you how to draw these more pointy leaves, and then we'll do the easy leaves. I mostly have these because they take a lot of space up. So if you feel like you just need some leaves that take a lot of space, then by all means, go ahead and draw some of these. And honestly, you could even draw any of these little leaves larger if you want to as well. But these are really nice for it. I don't really remember why I chose these particular leaves for this one. I don't think they actually belong to these flowers. I just, just made them. So pick pick any one of your greens. It honestly does not matter which of your greens you start with. Since these are pointy, I'm going to start with on the bottom right here, and I'm going to add a little nodule as I move up. It's very pointy. And because it is greenery, it wants to stick up towards the sky. It's reaching towards the sky because it needs those nutrients. Then I can just color it in. Color it in all willy-nilly. Doesn't really matter what it looks like. As long as it's pointing upward, you're good. Perhaps I'll choose to do a slightly darker one. Starting on the bottom. Adding some of those little nodules, making it a little bit thicker. That one's a little more thick. And honestly, I'm finding that this particular green is very similar to this one. So maybe I will add in a fourth green, just because it's very similar. Maybe this one will be a little better. We'll see. Now you can do as many of those leaves as you want to, or as few. We can actually start by drawing in some stems before we go on to the smaller leaves. So not every flower is going to warrant a stem, just because of the way it's positioned, perhaps. It really just depends on your picture. And some of these stems actually disappeared once I put the water on top of it. Like this one right here, this rose stem disappeared. This one it's kind of there, just a little bit. That one disappeared. So it's totally okay if some of them disappear. You can choose to do different color greens for your stems or not. I do recommend you swipe quickly whenever you do these. So I always like to look at where I'm going to start. And then if you want to use your finger to just kind of practice where it's going to go, that definitely helps. Start there, stop there. Let's see, start there, stop there. I do know that roses tend to have darker stems. So I am going to switch to a darker green for these roses. And I have to jump over this petal right there, but it works out okay. Roses and buttercups too, actually, also tend to have like a little bit of a leaf. Here we go. Now you can see it. A little bit of a leaf or two sticking out. So you can draw those if you want to. But again, those may disappear once you put the water on it. Who knows? Same with buttercups. We're going to draw little leaves. Then it's going to stick down. And then maybe I'll move back to one of the lighter greens for my clovers. I think clovers also have a little bit of a leaf sticking out too, I think. This is my field though, so it's not going to be totally accurate. That is a-okay. And then there's my little tulip. I think that's pretty good for stems. And now I can start by drawing some little leaves around here. So I say little leaves, but they can begin kind of kind of big. Some of them are more pointy, like these two. Some of them are a bit more on the round side. And honestly, for me, once I start going quickly, they'll become whatever they want to become. They're just gonna do what they're gonna do. And you can even have some standalone leaves that are just kind of floating there. When you're actually looking at foliage or a field, perhaps where there's so much growth, so much life going on, your eye is not really going to distinguish between everything there, because it's all just going to tangle up and twist and turn around each other. That's just the nature of things. So if you have a few loose leaves every once in a while, then that's perfectly normal and totally
Nature
okay.
of things, because it's nature.
It's nature. Yes, thank you. There goes another pun.
I feel like
honestly,
you need to get a drum kit.
I know. Only I could teach Callie how to do the drums.
I hear clicker training works pretty well with cats.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that too. I've never tried it. I get the feeling Callie would still just go off and do her own thing though.
Oh yeah.
She's very much like that.
But if we could get her a little drum set and just do a photo shoot or something, that
It would be so
also
cute.
be so cute.
It would be adorable. Oh my God. I would love to see that. The little drummer cat. Now, anytime you're ready, we can start scribbling in between in these little spaces here. I honestly, like, I love this portion because it just fills up the space and it makes it seem even more lively. I just want to show you the general direction that I have of these brushstrokes here. I sort of like to pretend that this is all grass. And grass, it sort of goes to the side, but it also goes upwards. So if you want to think of it as grass, I think it would be easier that way. Basically, I'm going to be putting all of this grass color in sections. So it's going to have its own little sections or patterns where there's different colors of grasses, and you can jump back and forth between the colors here. So I think for this one, I started off with like a medium color, a medium green, and then I just added in a little bit of like a more teal, darker green just on top of it. So layer these colors together. Once again, think about the idea that grass and all foliage is gonna grow upwards. Now this one it's growing to the side simply because it's kind of like it's parting ways so that you can actually see all these flowers here. But all of this over here, it's all mostly going to go upwards. So I can't stress that enough. So I can start, honestly, basically anywhere. All of these colors are just going to sort of conform and go around some of these flowers and these leaves here. I'm going in patches. And honestly, it really doesn't matter if you bring in different greens, if you happen to have different greens. Because I'm noticing that a lot of these colors are very similar and they're going to be very close together too. So keep that in mind. This is how you lose some of your stems. going in patches, going from one green to the next. And I'm even going in here where I have all this space, and I'm even overlapping my sky just a little bit. It's absolutely okay if you do that. This is your chance to really fill it in. See, that's a very similar green. I need a different green. Let's try this one. Oh, that's nice. I like this one. Definitely overlap some of these spots here. Going in patches. Be sure to take that little handbrake. Get it? Handbrake. Stretch a little bit. Thank you. Stretch a little bit. There we go. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. So excited. I'm loving this new green right here. So bright. Can't wait for it to become cooler here in South Texas. I am itching to go outside and walk again.
And I assume our water is coming up very soon.
Very soon, exactly. It's going to transform. Now I need to find my sharpener. I need to sharpen this guy. But yes, we will do the water very, 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 very soon. Doing a lot of scribbling. The scribbling, though, at least for me, it's really taken no time at all. Tell me if you guys feel the same way.
Of course, you've got an MFA.
Oh, yes, I did get a degree. That is true. And I scribble basically on the daily too. Remember, just little patches, baby steps. Think of them as baby steps. Patches and baby steps. Oh, hey, I found another.
Or Cali steps if you prefer.
Cali steps, exactly. I found a really nice, robust green here that I'm loving. Much, much darker than everything else.
So basically, we need to put in our final touches we want before we add water.
Exactly.
Okay, so warning everybody, get your final touches and colors in before the magic happens.
That includes any sort of second colors you want for your flowers too, if you haven't done that yet. So put that in there. Dun, dun, dun. Almost there. And this is where I'm just kind of layering some greens on top of each other. I'll probably add just a little bit more of that bluish green. There we go. That's not too bad. Then I'm going to take a second to blow my nose real quick. Excuse me. All right. So you guys can actually start to add water to your flowers at any time now. So anytime you're finished coloring everything in, go ahead and start with your flowers. Remember to grab some water, tap a little off, and go with the shape of the petals. Now with the clovers here, I'm going to start to point outward a little bit, being careful of the greenery, but it's absolutely okay if you overlap. I'm going to go outward a little bit and make it a little more pointy. I wish we had the capability of making those white clovers. Like I said, like I said earlier, I don't really know why they include the white color pencil here. It doesn't make sense to me.
Unless you use a different color paper, maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe. They do sell black paper, black mixed media paper, so maybe.
I could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never tried it. Going outward a little bit. Using the pointy shape of this brush to point outward. There we go. I love these clovers. They're so fun. Now my purple is mixing enough with the pink that it's changing its color just slightly. So it looks a little bit more like a clover. There we go. I forgot to mention with the clovers, you can actually go back in there after it's dried up a little bit and go in and add some more texture with the pencil. So I can probably show you with this one right here. I can take like a darker pink. Let's see. Or even a light purple, I think would be good too. Let's see what actually shows up. Okay, pink's not showing up. Maybe I'll do with the purple. Oh, there we go. This is good. I can make little what do you call these marks? Little tick marks to sort of represent the shape of the tiny little petals.
Mm-hmm.
See that? And this is actually very wet, actually. So I think I recommend doing them very wet. Well, that's probably a little dark, so I'm going to see if I can tone that down just a bit. There we go. I can spread that pigment a little bit. I can reapply water on top of it. So I can go in and make some more of those shapes. I'll probably have to tone this down too. Or find another purple. They kind of look like dragon fruits now.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious. I've always wanted to grow a dragon fruit.
Do you know what climate they need?
I believe desert. I believe very hot.
Oh, and that should be good in Texas
They
then.
thrive
yeah.
in Florida, actually.
Ooh, humidity, I'm sure.
Yeah, they love humidity and heat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they would love San Antonio too then. All right, so I'm gonna move on to a different flower. Just gonna go to my buttercups just because I can. I'm actually not really going in any particular order. You can do whatever order you want. Where's my napkin?
Yeah, I did some yellow buttercups and it all just looks like a big yellow blob.
Oh, poor babies. It's okay.
But now I see you have orange, so I'm gonna color over the one I haven't wetted yet with orange.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and Hannah, probably when they dry, you can just go over again and fix it, right?
You can. You really can. You could go over with a slightly darker color and give it some shape now. After it's dry, it's got to be completely dry for that part. You can add more subtle color, subtle layers after it dries a little bit more. Well, I'd say a lot more. It's got to dry a lot more. Yeah. Which is why I probably won't have a chance to show you on this particular lesson.
Thank you, Susie.
Oh,
Thank
bye,
you. It was
Susie.
fun. Bye. Thank you. I need to go.
Bye.
Sorry. Thank you.
Hi, Susie.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.
Don't worry, guys. We're almost done.
We're almost to Hannah and I's favorite part of the whole entire month is when we get to see your art.
The big reveal.
The
big reveal. That's right. And if your flowers are like all the colors are drooping together, just remember this is painterly. It's supposed to be painterly. It's supposed to be watercolory. Water likes to put everything together. And that's okay.
Well, it's not really a confession, but I'm using my weird little digital pencils.
Yeah.
Sometimes after class, I stick around and I keep doing more.
Yeah.
But I could save drafts. So that's what I'm doing because I'm not ready to water it up. But I'm like ready to show what it is before it becomes a bad blob. Then I'm sorry. Like I think I'm going to go back and do I can add watercolor. I can do, I don't know, what is it called? It's something called like it has these funny names that you can, a smudge brush, so I'm gonna trying to figure out to do that because everything took me a long time until I realized I should have been using the crayon because you wouldn't know. Hannah won't know. It's a crayon.
That's true.
Along with the pencil.
That is true though. I won't know.
So when I show it, I'm not gonna have the water part on it yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that when I'm refreshed.
I'm so curious to see how you'll do that.
I like it, so I want to like it before I ruin it.
And Hannah, could you show us on the grass now since we already kind of practiced on the flowers?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Could you go ahead and just show us like how you do your grassy parts?
Sure, that's a good idea. Actually, I'm gonna do the sky first, actually, before I do the grass. So, for the sky, I actually want a lot of water on my paintbrush. I'm gonna start on my lighter color, but I'm gonna try not to go over the grass just yet. I'm gonna try to avoid that for now. I'm gonna stick to the grass. And notice how I'm bending my brush downwards. I'm angling it downwards like so. That's because I want to stretch it. I really want it to go far. I'm going off to the side here. Trying to get as much of the lighter color, lighter orange as I can for now.
And you're continually adding water to that when your hand goes off. You're getting more and more water.
I am, exactly. So here we can see that now. I do want a lot of water. See how it's very drippy like that?
Yeah.
This also helps to keep everything else wet too, because you don't want it to dry too much just yet. And again, it's going to look very wet. It's going to look very painterly. All of these colors are going to start to blend together as I'm making my way upwards.
And everybody, just so you know, I posted the sign up link for the next class, which will be on September 15th in the chat. If you'd like to go ahead and register for that, we'd be more than happy to have any of you back. And Hannah,
yes.
I heard
Yes.
TMZ called me for a answer on this. They wanted to know, are we doing oil pastels next month?
Oh, yes, you can tell TMZ. Yes, we are doing oil pastels.
Okay, then I'll go on TMZ
Indeed.
live tomorrow and
Thank you.
announce that. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
an
that.
amazing spokesperson. Thank you. We're doing oil pastels, and I have to admit, I've been very sick the last 2 weeks. So anything I've been creating has not been up to par, not been up to standard. So I'm going to work on that this week while I'm feeling good. I'll get you that picture out. Now, I've done the sky. Basically, just to recap, I started on my lightest color, closer to the grass, and then I worked my way up all the way towards the purple in the corner up here. And you can see everything here is still very wet, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing to use a lot of water. Because it's wet, I can start to overlap my grass here. The grass that is closest to the sky can start to scribble up and down, scribble in the same direction that you put the brush stroke in there in the first place.
So do you avoid the leaves or do you just smudge them in?
So I'm avoiding the leaves for now, just for now. I want to get it blended in with the sky first while I can. And now that I've gotten all that blended in, that was pretty quick. Now I can go back in and go closer to my leaves, but you're not going to really want to, or sometimes not even going to be able to get too close to your petals. You want the petals to mostly stay intact, but again, you will have these little areas where the color bleeds a little bit. It's just part of the process. But at least try to get as close as you can to those petals. And honestly, there's no real I'm mostly just going to work my way downward from here. So I'm going over my leaf. You can see now this leaf right there, just it disappeared. It did what I predicted some of my leaves are going to do. Kind of disappeared a little bit, and that's okay.
And so, Hannah, you're just going to go down and use the same brush stroke, sort of like what you did with the sky and everything for the grass?
Basically, I'm going in the same direction as I put the brush strokes in there in the first place. So see how my marks are all going outward like this? My brush strokes are also going to go outward like that.
Okay, so just follow the lines that you've already made. Okay.
Exactly. You basically already put the blueprint in there, and that's what we're doing. We're following the blueprint.
And do you still want a ton of water?
I would say lessen it up now. That's a really good question. Because we're dealing with such tiny spaces now, it just kind of calls for it.
Okay, so Hannah, I want to be so sensitive, especially to our East Coasters, and I know we spend about 2 hours. I think if everyone has the questions that they have answered that they need to finish the project, because the cool thing with watercolor pencils is you can come back to this. This isn't like if you're actually doing watercolors and you need to finish it up, you can come back to this. So does anyone have any questions that they may need to ask to finish up their project? And then if there's any questions, we'll get them answered and then we can do the great reveal.
Yes.
No.
And you can also email Hannah at ancan.org if you need help with your project, if you are watching us online, or if you're watching us. So Hannah, I'm going to take away your spotlight. We can all see each other. And we would love, even if it's not complete, we'd love to see what you got.
Please. We'd love to see what you have.
Oh my gosh, Tony, that's beautiful.
Tony.
Can you put a spotlight? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I didn't do the grass. I'll do that and show it next time.
I love it though.
Perfect.
You filled up so much space.
I love it.
And I'm loving the daisy that's pointing downward. It's beautiful.
And then we have Andrea.
Nice, Andrea.
And then we have Wendy. I'm adding a spotlight.
Those clovers are beautiful, Andrea.
And then Thomas and Marlene, I'm getting to you. Let me find you. There we go. And there's Thomas and Marlene. Oh my gosh, that's so
good. Wow.
Thomas, those roses, you did such a fantastic job.
Tell me when you're ready. Tell me
Yay, George, that's gorgeous. I'm loving your daisies. I love those so much.
Like nail polish. I love it. Little tips.
And then Debbie. Oh, Debbie, I love the colors you chose for that. That's so intense.
I know. That's beautiful, Debbie. Your sky is gorgeous
and
too.
Then John,
that.
I'm bringing you up now.
Nice.
John, oh, I love the yellow.
I'm loving that.
I love
and your leaves are beautiful too.
I'm trying to find you. If you want to show anything, just say Alexa, please.
Alexa, when you're ready for me, because I'm cheating. I'm getting
cool.
Okay, I'm gonna spotlight you.
Yep.
I'm gonna spotlight you, Karen. You're ready.
There you are.
It's prime time.
It's prime time. Here we are.
Oh, Karen.
Wow,
Karen. That is
Karen.
so good.
I know. You did so good with that.
That's amazing.
That sky is
love
gorgeous.
The sky.
I was so scared to put the fake water on it.
Honestly, Karen, I think this is one of my favorites that you've done. It's beautiful. Mike, I'm putting you up there.
And then Colleen here. I'll add a spotlight to you, Colleen. We can see you.
Oh, that is gorgeous, Mike. Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
I know those daisies are amazing.
Yeah,
Colleen.
I love those.
Colleen, I'm loving everything about the movement, your clovers,
and
the
then
sky.
And for our iPad. Oh my gosh, that's wow. I love the roses.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
There's so much going on. I love it. And you do everything to scale. That's the best part, I think. You do everything to scale. There's so much going on.
Wow.
Okay, does anyone else want to share? Because I have all of your pictures. Just you can raise your hand or.
Oh, I can do it.
Okay, yeah, Randy. And then Party Monster too. I'll bring you up as well.
There we go.
There.
Okay, there you go. Party Monster, you're up. Oh my
There we
gosh.
go. I know
I love it.
The direction of both of y'all's grassy areas is beautifully done.
Absolutely beautiful.
That's great.
And Party Monster, I'm loving the roses.
Oh my gosh. It was
very cool.
So amazing. You all, I'm so proud of y'all. Hannah, I always want to cry. I always just want to go, oh my gosh, they did so good.
And
I know.
Make them take pictures and submit them to the
You can put it
gallery.
on your refrigerator.
Yes, please
Every-
send
Thank you,
us
Wendy.
pictures and send them to us. Rick is very particular. He will hound me by Party Monster. He will hound me and be like, I want to see what everyone created. Do you have all the
But
pictures in the art gallery yet?
And it also helps with the grant, but it actually makes everybody's painting look better. You know, like you could think, oh, mine isn't very good, but then you go, oh, wow. We were all in the same room at the same time,
Are
right?
all amazing, and they're worth being put in our AnCan art gallery. So please take pictures of them and send them to us. Just so you know, I posted a link in the chat for the next art class, which will be on September 15th. If you could please, just because Hannah's behind because she's been sick, if you could register for that as soon as possible, just so we can get your art supplies out to you, that would be amazing. And if you have any issues with that, please feel free to email us. I'm also going to do a quick plug for AnCan's webinar tomorrow about multiple sclerosis and mental health issues. And let me tell you, because I'm directing and producing that webinar, that I've already seen the slides, I've already seen the presentation. It goes way beyond MS, and it is worth showing up to no matter what your diagnosis is. If you're just a caregiver, there's going to be lots of good nuggets of information in that. Kim, could you post the registration in the chat? Oh, do you have it? Okay, I'll try to find it, but yeah, that's going to be a great webinar. And of course, Hannah's going to be at Solo Arts Heal next month, which we can also include that in the follow-up email. But we will be in touch with you guys. Thank you for the recording. And if you have any questions, please email me, Alexa, Alexa, as in Amazon Echo, at AnCan, AnCan.org, or Hannah, HANNAH, at AnCan.org. And thank you.
Thank you.